Well, folks, I'm back. This makes 3 live streams in about 24-hour period. Hell has frozen over. Yes, folks, it's frozen over. But yes, the old odd's back. So hopefully, those that show up had a good day so far. Hopefully you're well, you're comfortable. Find yourself in a happy mood. Find yourself enjoying the day. Hopefully you don't find yourself being attacked. Having to put up with stupid shit. Anyway, enough of that rambling. I just gotta say, can't we all just get along? Damn it. Can't we all just get along? Can we stop making stupid jokes just to piss other people off for the hell of it? No, it's kind of fun when you just do it as joking and in jokes between certain people, but just to go out and say something really stupid just because I think it's funny, or you do it just to try to get clicks because you want to be edgy. Doesn't do any good. All you're doing is stirring up more trouble, people. Hello, Elihu. Yes, Elihu, I seen that joke on Twitter the other day. Hello, Dandelion. Link's pinned to the top if anybody wants to come up. It's open panel. This is fun time. So if conversations come up to where we need to squash people or something, we'll do that too. I'm just gonna say one thing though. I'm gonna put it out there right now. No, I won't do it yet. I'll wait. Hi, Moira. Meow. Meow. Oh, now Jeffrey has one. What does the elephant say to the naked man? I don't know. What does an elephant say to the naked man except for feel sorry that your trunk's so small or something? I don't know. Greetings to 47. Yes, folks, hell has frozen over. This is the third live stream for me in a 24-hour period. What the hell is going on? And there's Elihu.
And what's up?
Let's see. The answer to Jeffrey's
Looks like
the elephant say to the naked man. It's cute that you can pick up peanuts with it. Ready.
Oh, but that's good. Turn up your volume. It was weak for a second. Never mind.
Yeah, you're kind of low there.
Hang on. Let me get to my manual volume control. Yeah, it's my headphones. It's my headphones. Okay, how's this?
Well, that's a little better.
Okay, how about now?
Getting a little better.
Yeah, it's my headphones.
Yeah, because I can hear this buzzing noise too.
Oh, that's the dehumidifier.
Ah, well, that explains that then. Got to get that humidity out of the air.
Yeah, the ceiling is still wet. I saw the guy came by this morning with the flare, and I saw a huge blue cold spot in the corner of the wall. I'm like, Shit, another day of this shit.
Yeah, it sucks. Hello, Captain Fandom Nerd. Wow, my video from the other day has gotten a lot of views. Actually, not video, live stream.
Well, the algorithm for YouTube has changed. Apparently, they're promoting and concentrating on shorts.
Well, let's see. This was a live stream I did about Tim Pool.
Who is Tim Pool?
He's a YouTuber that talks politics and stuff.
Okay.
And in a 3-day period, I've had over 2,100 views on it.
No, I don't do the politics on YouTube shit, so I don't know who he was.
Well, I just thought it was funny because he'd ended his own live stream, so I decided to talk about it.
No. Did you say no politics? Let's all get along.
Yeah, that's one of the key things that happens. And we have Captain Fandom Nerd.
Hello.
Hello. I stepped into your territory this morning.
How so?
I streamed.
I didn't see you streamed. Damn it.
It was like at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I don't want to see you speak your protest. It's not sure with your friends.
Oh, now you're really going all weird there, Elihu. Not like you're talking at double speed. Yeah, it was like 6 o'clock this morning. I streamed for like an hour, and I finally fell asleep.
Ah.
I tried to go to sleep in the middle of the night, made it 45 minutes. A storm come blowing through, woke me up. Then I had to watch the storm for a while because it was kind of cool. Then I couldn't fall back asleep.
Man.
By 7 a.m., I was finally getting tired enough. I ended the stream, and I was able to crash.
Cool.
But yeah, I've just been sitting here. I've kind of caught up on some of the things. I got all these people, watching all these people just imploding here, there, and everywhere. And I say, can't we all just get along?
I agree. I agree completely. There are people that, it's funny because not to bring things into it, but there were people that were on my panel before, and somebody on the panel upset them, and they got mad at me.
Yeah, I had been on a live stream before I did my own this morning, but then somebody came on the panel I couldn't stand, so I just left. Didn't want to make a scene, didn't want to cause problems. I just left.
Mm-hmm.
You're still all fucked up there, Elihu.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this on Firefox. I'll be back.
Hey, there's Phil. Phil's in the chat.
Hey, Phil, what's up?
I don't know. I'll just kind of say one thing. When you got certain people that have certain amounts of subscribers and they make stupid jokes and then they try to double down on their stupid jokes, that's just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And you deserve what you get. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't know who you mean. Don't care. But
well, I'm sure if you've been around YouTube for the last few days, you've probably seen it somewhere.
Probably.
And Cinnabon Bunny. Cinnabon Bunny is in the chat telling me I suck. Crop pooper. Hey, them crops ain't gonna get fertilized on their own, damn it.
No kidding.
Somebody's gotta do it. Somebody's gotta do it. Especially since there's a damn fertilizer shortage now. Uh-oh, here's MB. Oh yeah, there's a big fertilizer shortage.
And speaking of fertilizer, here's MB.
Oh, this coming from the guy who's been hiding since I don't know. I can't even think of the last time I've talked to you.
Which one?
No, Deej, I've talked to you. No, Deej, I've talked to you several times. Captain here has been I don't know, playing low key for a while, I guess.
Yep.
Hey, Bill.
What's going on today, guys?
Sometimes you just got to play low key though to get your sanity back.
Well, I haven't had sanity since I joined the Marine Corps because they still kept half my brain when I got out.
Luckily, I've lost all my sanity again. That's why I'm back live streaming.
Yeah,
This is the third one within 24 hours.
I saw your other one earlier, but I wasn't feeling very well, so that's why I didn't come in.
Okay, is Elihu fixed?
I did not go to the veterinarian, so no, I'm not fixed.
No, but you are sounding much better now.
Good.
Yeah, you don't sound like you were talking at double or triple speed.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to Chrome. I might have to do my show on Firefox instead of Chrome on Wednesday.
And Jeffrey, right now, most of the fertilizer shortage isn't going to hit until this fall, when after the planting, things start getting put back down to mix in to sit over the winter. That's when it's going to really be bad.
Yeah, they should be starting harvest in about a few weeks.
No, well, around here we still got at least 5 weeks before we start.
I don't know. Corn's looking pretty. Most of it around here is corn, so looks like it's getting pretty close, but might be until September. But I don't know.
Well, it's not close to being harvested until you notice at the bottom it's starting to turn brown. When you start seeing down by the roots and it's turning brown, slowly working up its way, that's when you know it's time to start considering picking.
If I was sent back in time 200 years, I'd be screwed because I know nothing about farming.
Hail time, Prophet.
By the way, we adopted another puppy.
Ah, hey, Jedi Bill.
Show the puppy on screen.
No, I'm not letting Maxine in here. She's a spaz. She's an Australian Shepherd, and she's about the most hyper we have. But her and Gizmo get along great because they're both, well, Gizmo's almost a year old, and Maxine's 4 months old, so they still like to play. Whereas my other two dogs are 8 years old, and they're like, I ain't got time for this shit.
Is it just me, or is your audio breaking?
It broke a little, but not super bad yet. And Phil, yes, you would think that we could produce the fertilizers ourselves and that, but then you have other people that yell that you can't have animals pooping or farting because it's running.
It's always something, isn't it?
So there is that.
Well, remember, they all want this stuff. They just don't want us making it here.
Why don't they just kill two birds with one stone? When they're milking the cows and they're feeding them when they're milking them, put something in there to make them fart more, and just put a tube by their ass and clip the meat thing. 2 in 1. Come on, you get milk and energy.
Dude, I recently saw a video where this person basically, these protesters went into a store and started dumping the milk out because they said it's cruel to cows.
And most cattle in the U.S. are not milk cows.
I know that.
It's cruel to not milk a milk cow. That's what's cruel. They need to be milked. Otherwise, it's very, very painful.
We have nothing but beef cattle around here, and we don't milk them because they naturally dry up as soon as the calves are done eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a real woman.
Dairy cow, you got slaughter cow. Yeah, dairy cow, slaughter
got beef cows, beef cattle.
Yeah. Of course, I saw that at Safeway they have $8 gallons of milk. I'm like, $8? What the fuck? I'm so glad I'm lactose intolerant.
Damn, I'm allergic to my own bullshit.
So what's been going on, Cap?
Just been watching some videos, taking it easy, and planning for the future.
Yeah, I'm working on a new string. I got a video I need to do tomorrow. I've been working on some videos for helping people navigate through the Star Wars, the original Star Wars EU. Because if you're new to it and you weren't around it like I was when it started, it can be intimidating to try and get around. So I'm trying to put together, simple like 5-10 minute videos just saying, hey, I'm gonna help you navigate this. It's explain it to you. And well, like for example, my next one is saying, hey, here are some of the stuff you don't need to worry about unless you really want those stories. They're not necessary.
I'm going to give you a suggestion when you do that. YouTube is concentrating on shorts, so do a little intro and do pinpoints like this character is this and this, boom. This character is in this, boom. This character is in this, boom. This character is in this, boom. Make like 30 seconds and go for more information. Follow and subscribe. Because you'll get a lot of views for the shorts instead of a 3-minute video.
Yeah, I do. Well, basically, like my next one is just going to be things you don't have to read or watch to for the Star Wars EU. And this is just one area with a lot of things that are like S canon and Apocrypha canon. That it's like, unless you really want to read these things, you don't need them to enjoy the EU experience. And next I'm going to do after I get that one done is going to be a much longer one. I'm going to go through the New Republic era because that was really the era the EU started in with the Thrawn trilogy and then Dark Empire from Dark Horse. And I'm going to kind of go through that and say, hey, here's, go through each area, say, hey, here's what's in it. Here's what you can read that'll really give you what you probably want. And here's what you don't need. Like, you don't need to read star by star. And you actually do not need to read the Black Fleet Crisis trilogy if you really are not interested. See, people think the EU can be complicated, but that's because there's just so much that they added to it. And like the last one I went through the canons. I went through the G, the C, the S, the Apocrypha, and then I brought up T canon. I said, look, you just need to avoid T canon at all costs. Because that's when EU really got screwed up. And yes, this is one of those few times I will tell you Dave Filoni really screwed us on that one.
So I take it you are looking forward to seeing Andor?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm one of the few people, I guess, who enjoyed Kenobi. I didn't have a problem with it. I quite enjoyed it. As far as Andor, we'll see. I don't know. I have no. I mean, he's a character from Rogue One. That's all I got. I did notice, and I am going to say this with having Skarsgård in it, kind of perks me up because I always like Skarsgård.
I agree, try and prop it. There are only 3 Star Wars movie, nothing else.
Yes, you have to include the Ewok Christmas special, the Arthur Ross.
Shut up, Elihu.
Oh.
That's right, Papa Cotton. To answer the question, hell no. I guess we can't all just get along.
And I've stopped trying.
But at least over here, when we can't get along, we can still get along when we can't.
Well, Elihu and Val, Mike, and I, after this last episode of Orville comes out, we kind of put it together that we're going to actually go through each of the episodes. And it's going to be, hey, you got a conservative, you got a liberal, and you got an independent. And yet we all still love this damn show.
Actually, you don't really have a liberal, though. He's more of a communist. Just saying.
Hey, communist jokes are not funny unless everybody gets them. Okay,
he blocked me just because he didn't like my views.
I heard that chuckle and he got it.
I thought it was rather childish, but hey, you have that.
Wah, wah, wah.
I don't agree with most of what Elihu says, but I'm still friends with him. I'm just teasing you, Elihu.
How many others? I have them.
And Darren, there is no real topic. I'm just here and just
zero politics, dude.
Whatever the hell comes up. I'm just saying, can't we all just get along?
Yeah, which means zero political talk, okay?
No, apparently we cannot, because even I've had some people. I saw one person one time. He's like, I don't want to hear anything about Kenobi. I don't want to care about it. Don't talk to me about it. Don't do it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like,
I really don't care about Star Wars anymore either, but I let people just rabble on.
Well, I don't care about new Star Trek. I got to a point where I said, what does it really fucking matter anymore? I've got 700 plus episodes across TOS to Enterprise and 10 movies. You know what? I'm good.
And I'm going to say real quick, hello Darren to the panel, and hello JP's and Gorilla Random Thoughts to the chat.
So I know I'm a little behind the power curve on this subject here, but I just saw today the trailer for the new movie Prey, which comes out on Hulu in about 4 days. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of stoked for it. That looks really interesting, because it's a familiar monster, but a very unfamiliar situation, for most of us anyway. Unless you read a lot of Don Quixote novels or something. But yeah, I was kind of blown away by it, to be honest.
To Time Prophet, I will say this. I don't read Disney EU, so I don't give a shit.
That's right. Disney shit doesn't matter.
Who's roboting?
I'm not sure, because I don't hear anybody roboting up here.
I noticed Thor did not. Thor kind of went into almost the same boat as most of the others of Phase 4. Really didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, it had a big opening weekend, but then it dropped off to by like 60% the next weekend. Whoa, truffle shuffle.
No, fuck you, Parrot Head. Fuck you, Parrot Head.
Parrot Head asked for it, so...
That is one hairless belly and chest, let me tell you.
That's not hairless, it's just gray, so you can't see it.
Well, here's an interesting... The interesting thing is, I wasn't feeling good the day we were supposed to go see Thor. And my son did, and so my wife and daughter went and saw it, and they kind of said it was okay. And the next day, my son and I were supposed to go, and then my wife was like, my son was like, my wife said, AJ's not interested. Mm-hmm. And I said, AJ, do you still want to go see the movie? And he goes, Dad, I'm really not that interested. I said, oh, thank God, because I wasn't either. No, I mean, I'm dead serious. I really wasn't that interested.
It had bad word of mouth, too. I mean, it was...
Well, my wife and I both agreed Doctor Strange was a disappointment. And she goes, I really don't... I said, yeah, you didn't see WandaVision, and if you don't see WandaVision, part of this is going to be lost on people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where I think the biggest problem they have now is okay, somebody argued, I saw one where he's like, well, you had to see all these movies before we got to Endgame or we got to... I'm like, No, there's actually about 4 or 5 of those movies you didn't even need to see. You didn't need to see. You didn't need to see that either. You didn't need to see Captain Marvel. You didn't need to see the Incredible Hulk. I tried to watch Shang-Chi on Disney Plus twice, and I was like, this is boring.
How far did you get into the movie?
30 minutes at best. I give a movie 30 minutes, and that's it.
Part of the problem, I think, is we're used to the MCU giving us their A-list characters, right? Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, and now we're getting. I mean, the highest profile one besides Thor is probably Doctor Strange, and he's never been an A-list character. He's like maybe a high B-list,
And
yeah, so go ahead.
And I agree with someone who said this. The only reason Doctor Strange even made the money it did was because it was riding off the coattails of Spider-Man No Way Home.
I agree. He was, he had chemistry with Spider-Man, and but I actually enjoyed the Doctor Strange, second Doctor Strange movie. It was everything I wanted it to be, and it also propelled the multiverse meta plot forward. But
impossible.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was funny because I remember when we started getting into this phase, and I said, "Oh, we're doing the multiverse thing." And I did have some people who told me I was out of my mind. I said, no. I said, they're going the multiverse storyline. It's pretty obvious. And I think really what sold, when you had Spider-Man, which, let's be honest, that wasn't even really a full Disney property. That was Sony. And I think Doctor Strange kind of rode the coattails of it. I'm not saying it was bad, but there were things in there I was kind of like, if you didn't watch some of the TV shows on Disney Plus, which not everybody has or wants, you're going to be a little lost.
Yeah, and that might have been a big miscalculation on Marvel's part to invest so much material into the streaming service, productions that, the average moviegoer who doesn't watch a lot of TV or stream a lot of stuff from Marvel, is gonna miss out. I mean, you would not have known. I mean, if you had not watched WandaVision, that the Wanda's turn to villainy would have come out of total left field. You wouldn't have seen what led to it. Although you might have been able to put it, 2 and 2 together with the death of Vision and everything. But you wouldn't certainly know that there's a version of Vision that's alive now. But that wasn't even touched on in the movies. But my thing was that I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan, and I was just looking for all of his signature elements in the movie. And towards the end there, when Strange was gonna animate the alternate universe version of himself, the corpse, and it was going to come out of the grave, and I just thought, that's just pure Sam Raimi right there,
That kind of goes back to Evil Dead era.
Right. And so I was fine with it.
Sorry, Jared, did you catch all the reference with the eyes? All the eye plus all the eyes.
Sorry, I can't make out what you're saying, like hoo.
Did you catch the shit? How about now?
Still sounds like you're in a tunnel, but go ahead.
Did you catch the Easter egg with all the close-up of the eyeballs?
The eyeballs where?
In Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, where in the Multiverse of Madness, Elihu?
The close-up shots of all the eyeballs when the camera's zooming in on the eyes. That's an Easter egg. Did you understand it?
Doesn't ring a bell. No, I don't remember that moment in the movie. So go ahead. What was it about?
The camera is constantly doing zoom in of eyes. It's the eye represents the Illuminati.
Okay, that sounds like a coincidence to me. But I know that there's that one graphic. There's that one graphic that he always uses for all of his movies. That's sort of this weird, sort of looks like a brain tendril. And I recognize that. I recognize like the car that's always in all of his movies. I mean, stuff like that was what I was looking for, not Illuminati Easter eggs.
No.
Now, I will say this: I am not a fan of the Evil Dead movies. I don't care for them. They are not my type of horror.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I can say about it. Is that they're just not my type of horror. Horror to me is like
I can totally see somebody not liking the second Doctor Strange movie. I was watching with my brother, and he didn't get nearly as much out of it as I did, and that's part of the reason. So,
yeah, I didn't really enjoy the second one either.
Plus, he got very distracted by the presence of America Chavez, and it was like he couldn't get over her presence in the movie and such. And I'm like, well, they kept her involvement. I mean, yeah, she was sort of like a living MacGuffin, but they didn't dwell on her too much. They showed a little bit of her backstory in a flashback, and that was about it. And I didn't have a problem with that. I actually thought the actress who played her was quite charming. She was a nice presence. But I mean, I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it.
Indeed, I'm going to take off since my sound is messing up again.
All right, Elihu. Talk to you later. And no time prophet, I don't think Darren is bionic.
With everything they got coming out on Disney Plus and the future movies, it's other than Daredevil Reborn, there is really nothing coming out I'm that interested in, which is somewhat disappointing because the girl who's playing She-Hulk, I loved her in Orphan Black. I thought she was phenomenal in that.
They're having a Daredevil Reborn?
Yeah. 18 part series on Disney Plus.
I thought it was supposed to be Deadpool Reborn. Never mind.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Well, from what I hear is Charlie Cox is supposed to show up in both She-Hulk and Echo, and then I guess like in 2024 he's gonna come back, which makes sense why they would bring him back in Daredevil, because when it came down to those series, that really was the most popular of Netflix.
Rumor has it though they are bringing Punisher back too.
Now, if they bring the guy who did him back, I would love that.
That's what they're saying. They're going to bring back Blumenthal and Punisher.
I prefer they go for somebody else than over Blumenthal, to be honest.
I kind of like Blumenthal though.
Blumenthal was fine from the neck up. Problem with him was he's supposed to have the same overall build as Captain America. In fact, when Punisher puts on Captain America's outfit, you can't tell the two of them apart. And I thought Bernthal was way too skinny. His shoulders weren't broad, but he had the face, and he had the otherwise the presence, but he wasn't as intimidating as he should have been. But I put a video out here a couple of days ago about my feelings on the San Diego Comic-Con trailers, and the She-Hulk thing is probably, I think people are going to see it more so probably for the Hulk than for her, and for Wong, and for Abomination and Daredevil in there as well. So I just think that that's a smart move, given that she's such an unknown commodity to a lot of the normies out there. But yeah, again, Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm convinced one of the reasons why it didn't do as well as Ragnarok was because there's no Hulk in it.
I think here's my issue with and some people tried to tell me about this. I'm like, this doesn't look anything like the She-Hulk I remember. Like, well, you should have read Sensational She-Hulk. I'm like, I'm sorry, I read Savage She-Hulk. I did not read past that.
She-Hulk was created expressly for the purpose of being trademarked so that another publisher wouldn't come up with the same idea. Same thing with Spider-Woman and a few other female characters out there. Her initial comic was Savage She-Hulk, and that went away very quickly. And then later, after her stint on the Fantastic Four, she got her own series where a bunch of things were tried. And one of the things that was done was John Byrne, I think, was the not the showrunner, but the creator on that series. He decided he wanted to basically do Woody Allen movies in Marvel Comics, and so he had She-Hulk frequently break the fourth wall and talk directly to the reader, and it was kind of like almost like it came off more like Looney Tunes in a lot of ways.
Now, didn't he only last about 7-8 issues?
Pardon me for
What?
1 minute. Pardon me for 1 second.
Timer! 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 Level up, Timer! Level up, Timer! Level up, Timer! Level up, Timer!
Okay.
Thank you very much. Real quick, I just got to make a comment about Evil Dead and Armies of Darkness. So the only real horror movie out of all three of those movies is the first one. The other two are more comedies than they were horror movies.
Yeah.
Hello, Ricky.
What is up?
Ensign Rick, how you doing, buddy?
Tired. My only day off.
Oh, don't feel bad, man. Trust me, don't feel bad. I was exhausted last week. We were trying to install an extension on our fence. We ran into one little problem we were not anticipating. That the ground around here is harder than clay. And after 2 hours, we were only able to get 2 12-inch stakes hammered in the ground.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
It's almost like drilling through concrete.
Oh, dude, finally we had to stop because I was like, somebody's gonna break their foot on.
Well, you're still in like Southern Illinois, right? Or you're in Illinois still, or no?
No. I live right in Indiana, right next to the Illinois border.
Gotcha. So like Calumet,
Yeah.
like in that area.
The armpit. In other words, the armpit. He lives in the armpit.
What we had to do is we had to get a post driller. And we're just waiting on that to get here so we can put this, because this fence is actually very easy to install once those stakes are in the ground, but kind of a little hard to do when you're sitting there hammering your foot down on some very good shovels and you're like, is my shovel gonna break? I mean, we literally were taking the tiller, the rotary tiller, and we ended up breaking half of it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was
Tiller broke?
Yeah, the tiller broke. I mean, we were sitting there. It was a manual tiller. Well, I know why the stupid thing broke. Because it's like, oh, great, you gave me metal spikes, but you gave us a plastic thing to hold it together. I was like, no wonder that broke.
Yeah.
Said,
In reference to your question, though, earlier, Grandpa Geek, Sensational She-Hulk ran for 5 years, from 1989 to 94, which is not a bad run considering she's not an A-list character. But it was the status quo for that character for a long time to break the fourth wall, and then when she kind of receded into the woodwork for a while, Deadpool came out and they kind of borrowed the gimmick but went more cynical with it. And I just think that if they go that route in the show, and especially if she's promiscuous, it's going to come off like Fleabag.
Well, I don't have a problem with how she looks, besides the fact that CGI is kind of.
Was She-Hulk?
Yeah.
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 Well,
I mean, I
I'll
love
be-
the actress. The actress is amazing. Like,
What's
Well,
amazing
yeah,
is to
yeah,
me is that
exactly what
the
I was
Hulk
saying.
the Hulk looks fine because his skin is normal, but She-Hulk also wears makeup on top of green skin, and that's gotta be harder to convey, I think, now for those
so they
artists.
bring her makeup into it too? Like,
Well, she's wearing she has clearly has base on. She's got eyeshadow, mascara, all that stuff. She's not like you look at Banner Hulk's face. He's got the texture. He's got the stubble. His face. He looks so much more real than she does, is because you can see so many more details in his face she doesn't have very many details because, quite frankly, one of the purposes of makeup on a woman's face is to remove a lot of those, blemishes and details. So they have a problem there. And again, with the way this YouTube sometimes compresses video, it can be tricky.
Yeah, it's gonna look shitty. Yeah, well, man, like I like Tatiana. I mean, Orphan Black is phenomenal.
Ensign Ricky, that's what I was saying. That's why I was kind of bummed when I saw how this goes, because I was like, she was fantastic in
Orphan. Orphan Black is great. It's probably, I'd say, one of the best sci-fi series that came out next to Doctor Who, the BBC. I mean, it's just the show is great.
Is she British or?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
She is.
So,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but she started in that show where she played literally 8 clones of herself, up to like 10 clones of herself. And this it was a huge sci-fi thing about cloning and transhumanism and stuff like that. But the show itself was phenomenal, and she played. It was her and another girl that played all these different clones of herself. So I mean,
she did it with so much personality. Every
clone has got
a personality.
Personality. So I mean, every clone is different, And but technically, the show was phenomenal. I mean, and it's just like it blew me away. I mean, I was like, all 5 seasons. I think it went 5 seasons. But the story, the characters, everything in the show was great. And then when I seen she was in She-Hulk, I was like, well, see how it goes. But I mean, I like the actress, Yeah. But I mean, she should have got so many.
There's another problem with the She-Hulk show that I could see it running into, and that is this: that it's not actually based entirely off of sensational She-Hulk. It's based more off of the single green female Dan Slott run on She-Hulk, which was different. That was basically where he was taking, okay, let's just turn her into Ally McBeal. Let's have her be a full-time lawyer instead of a part-time lawyer. Because under in sensational She-Hulk, she was more of an adventurer.
Don't get angry in court.
No. The She-Hulk's never really had a problem with anger, but the idea was that she was only a lawyer when she needed to be a lawyer. So the story where the pornographer got topless pictures of her, for example, she shows up at his office as Jen Walters ready to serve him papers, and then when she finds out where he's keeping the negatives, she turns into She-Hulk. It's in the safe, and she grabs the safe and crushes it so nobody can get the negatives again.
What was her origin story?
In the comics, her origin story was that Hydra attacked her because she was representing somebody they wanted dead, and Bruce Banner, who was at the time still the Jekyll Hyde sort of version of himself, gave her a blood transfusion, and then a few months later he found out that his blood affected her because they were the same blood type, and so her powers are derived from him. I don't know what they're going to do in this. I don't know if they're going to do that in this show or not. But
no, they pretty much already established they're not doing that. It's going to basically be she saves Bruce Banner, and somehow gets his blood transferred to her by accident. They're completely changing her origin.
Yeah, I mean, the only 2 trailers I liked from the Comic-Con were the Dungeons and Dragons trailer, which looks kind of interesting to me, and John Wick 4, to be honest. So I mean, most of the other stuff I've seen was like,
I'm waiting to see what they do with Fantastic Four, and then of course we're gonna the next big thing I think after the multiverse is tied up is the emergence of mutants.
Now, the Time Prophet, I do need to correct you on this. Bill Bixby did not play Bruce Banner; he played David Banner.
Oh, David Bruce Banner.
David Bruce Banner.
Yes, that's what it said on his tombstone.
Yep.
The character in the comics was Robert Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner, yes.
Yeah.
He goes by his middle name.
Right. Well, that was that was funny because Stan Lee was writing so many different titles at that time that he sometimes would be writing scripts and he'd forget the character's name and he'd call him Bob Banner in the comics. And so when people wrote him letters going, well, what's his name, Bruce or Robert? And he goes, well, obviously his name is Robert Bruce Banner. He was a cop out. That's how he came up with how he got that name, because Stan, is one of those. It was one of those Pee Wee Herman, I meant to do that kind of moments. But
I'm with Mr. Lundell on that.
I mean, like I said, like the Dungeons and Dragons one looks decent. I'm just glad they're doing Dungeons and Dragons movies. I wish they'd go with like Drizzt or Drist, however you want to pronounce it.
Dritz.
Yeah, but that's Forgotten Realms.
Yeah,
You know, if they really wanted to have a hit Dungeons and Dragons movie, in my opinion, they should have adapted the 80s Saturday morning cartoon.
that would be awesome.
That
For
was
the kids
Age
there.
them, age them up a little bit, make them college students, except for the young barbarian kid. Have him be like somebody's little brother. Like
Yeah, because
like
they kind of
the
got
show.
trapped into. Then they go on like a circus ride or something. That took them
They went on a carnival ride, and the whole show was about them trying to get home. And so once in a while, they did make it home, but then something would make them turn back.
What went wrong?
like
What
But
about
they had Sloth, or was it Sloth? Yeah, Lord Sloth in that one too. I think didn't they have the cartoon? They have Sloth in there.
they had a whole bunch of them. Yeah, they had characters from the game in there as well. But yeah, that was. In fact, there was a car ad. You can find this on YouTube where somebody. I don't remember what I think it was a Ford ad, but it didn't air in the United States. They did a lengthy car ad, and it was a recreation
I
of
saw
that.
that just recently.
Yeah, and of course, Dungeon Master comes up in a Ford minivan or whatever and takes them back to Earth in that, obviously. But at the very end, the cop that's on horseback is Venger, and so it leaves. It's like a cliffhanger. It's like this little mini adventure, in a commercial. I mean, it shows you the potential, and I tell you, a lot of people in my age group would flock to a Dungeons and Dragons movie
think it
if it
would
was
be
based
cool.
off that cartoon. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that cartoon never got resolved either. It ended.
I don't know,
What I would like to see is if we're gonna go D&D, the Dragonlance books that were really one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean Dragonlance with Kryn, like that would have been good. Like with Tanis and all those guys, Kalimvor.
Thank you. You actually just named who I was thinking. Tanis, half elf.
Yeah, I mean he was kind of like the lead, kind of.
And there's a key thing about Tanis being a half elf.
And then Kalimvor, and there's a lot
Time
of
Prophet. Time Prophet. They didn't have CGI in the 70s. What you had was Lou Ferrigno and Andre the Giant. That's what you had.
Pretty much.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, so Lou Ferrigno lives down by me. He lives a couple suburbs away from me down here.
yeah.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was one other thing.
Oh, sorry,
From-
Deej, go ahead.
There was one other thing though from the Comic Con that I want to see. Terry Crews in the Walking Dead anthology.
Yeah, I mean, I love Terry Crews. I mean, I don't care what the hell he's in. He's a very versatile dude. You could put him in children's shit to straight up war film.
That should be funnier than shit with Terry Crews in it. Hey, what's going on, memes?
Tim, are you actually playing, or is this like recorded? Like,
No, I'm playing.
it's like you jump from like so many different locations at once. I'm like, where is he now? I'm like, holy shit, he got far.
It's called fast travel. It's not hard.
Yeah, I played survival mode, so I don't get the fast traveling thing.
Oh, he doesn't
Survival
know.
mode. I tried it a couple times. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's hard. I love it. I wouldn't play any other way.
Well, once you know where everything is, the challenge is gone. You got to do something like that. But
Yeah, I mean, I played with a mod called War of the Commonwealth, which spawns like entire groups of monsters. You're talking about like 50.
I have the Endless Warfare mod myself.
That's kind of works the same way. I'd say War of the Commonwealth is a little better, but it's very intensive.
I'm running We Are the Minutemen. The Minutemen
Got
take
that one.
over the Nuka World. I've got that one. I've got Endless Warfare, a few cosmetic mods.
Caliente's body replacement mod for females. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, that's
I
not
got
active.
that one on
Actually,
mine.
that's not installed anymore.
I mean,
I didn't download it.
Clementine's clients.
And I really mess with those settings.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout 4, I play with like 180 or so mods.
When I
then
discovered
Skyrim,
when I loot the bodies and they're all
Right.
butt ass naked, that's not good for streaming. So
In Fallout, though, they're all dirty. It's
Yeah,
like
well,
in,
with the body replacement mod, they're not. They're all like voluptuous.
in mine, they still retained the dirt and grime on their bodies, but on Skyrim, I know they did.
No,
Skyrim's got like a little less complex engine. I mean, I don't run with nearly many as mods as Skyrim than I did in Fallout. There's a lot more to Fallout 4 than there is in Skyrim. Even though Skyrim is technically a bigger landmass to explore than Fallout 4. It's just the engine's a little more less sophisticated. So, but I'm still a great game. I mean, even with all the mods, you
I
can
don't know.
just play the game for hours.
Fallout, I put the mod on there. It takes the grime off of them so I can make Piper look better.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of gun mods. I have War of the
War
Commonwealth and survival mode. Just the combination of those two make the game incredibly difficult. I mean, even at your best, like when you're fucking maxed out, a horde of zombies can come, or ghouls, and just wipe you off the face of the earth in a couple hits. That's the way I like it because it's realistic. Like I'm actually running from these things. If these things hit me, you're dead. You know what I'm saying? If you're not, you're crippled. So I mean, like.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's the other thing I'm running. Damage rebalance. Yeah, so the weapons shoot a little differently.
And then I turn experience to 1. So I
should have heard my son the other day when he came into my room. He loves Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, and he has beaten that game on every single mode from story to ultra hard. And I'm just like, I gave him a high five because I'm thinking, well, that's more than I could ever do. I'm not that good. My son is a better gamer than me. Of course, I never claimed to be a gamer. My son is a gamer. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, so Fallout 4 is still one of my favorite games in existence. Just because it's fully modded, it's still the best Bethesda game out there. And until Starfield comes out later this year.
The best is first place though. The story needs a lot of work.
The story is
the way they did the story interactions are very sad.
But I do like the building of all the stuff that you get to do and stuff like that.
Elements. Making your adhesive farms.
Yeah, I make crazy huge. I really completely reconstructed Sanctuary. I made it I encased every house in a building. So I mean, you walk through my Sanctuary, or it looks ridiculous. It looks like this just gigantic fortress of death. But the drive-through where you were just at. That's probably your best. And then the Nuka-Cola gas station and. Well,
I'm actually in Far Harbor right now.
Yeah, I know you're in Far Harbor. That's what I see. I just seen you at the drive-through, and I just all of a sudden you're in Far Harbor fighting gulpers. I'm like, damn.
Well, there's a drive-through in Far Harbor as well. There's a
I forgot about that.
There's a double drive-through that actually plays movies.
But that's it's not a settlement though. It's just
no, it's not.
Yeah.
But you can turn it into a settlement with the right mod.
Yeah, there's a settlement where you get a mod. You can settlement anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, I preferred Nuka World as a DLC over Far Harbor. Far Harbor's still pretty good.
Far Harbor is probably, I think it's a lot better as far as content-wise and story-wise, because it did add some of the story. But I mean, as far as threat level, Far Harbor is way, way harder than Nuka World.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, the fog, the constant, there's 1 day out of the month that's clear that you can actually see shit in Far Harbor. You know what I'm saying? But the rest
already passed that day.
Yeah, there's literally 1 day a month where it's clear. The rest of the days it's raining and foggy. So I mean, it just makes it a little more scary.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened to me was that because Far Harbor came out first, and you go there and it's like I can't kill anything, and then you suffer, and then you get better weapons and things like that, and then you go to Nuka World, and I think it was balanced to be the same as Far Harbor, but you're so much more powerful than having gone through Far Harbor. That
it's also more spaced out. Far Harbor is more condensed as far as trees and forests and stuff like that. You don't get any of that. Nuka World is one big desert with a bunch of things where you have enough space to run around and get away from people. As where Far Harbor, you're backing up from it. You're in a tree.
It depends. If you go to the galaxy, whatever it's called, the future world, where all the robots are, where all the robots trying to, those robots will fuck you up.
Oh,
there's so many of them, and you can't go very many places once you're in that particular park. But you're right. I mean, the whole thing is otherwise basically one big
desert open.
It's basically one big Mojave wasteland. It reminded me of that.
It's very close. Yeah, and because they did the Mojave. And it's kind of it's definitely kind of it's got that Mojave vibe to it.
Speaking of that, there's supposed to be a New Vegas conversion mod for Fallout 4.
There's two different mod teams working on that.
Yeah.
Well, I know Skyrim just dropped the multiplayer. They finally got it working, and
I don't.
They're attempting the multiplayer for Fallout 4 too.
Well, I mean, it's ESO is your multiplayer, but I mean, like people have been trying forever to do.
Well, no, ESO is not your multiplayer Skyrim. It's a completely different game from the ground up. But now I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I'm so curious. I've always wanted to like explore the map of Fallout 76, but I don't want to play Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
I mean, I just never, because it's like we gave everybody what they wanted. What? Everyone wanted Elder Scrolls 6. Okay? Everybody wanted
Meat Hook.
No one was like, Fallout 76, we need this game. No. And it came out at the same time where Blizzard dropped what they call it, Warcraft Refunded.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody just jumped on this multiplayer train, like this is what everybody wants, and we're like, no, we want. Bethesda is undoubtedly one of the greatest single-player game makers in history. And the last thing its fans probably want from it, even though co-op is good, is they want worlds. They want full worlds they can explore themselves. And, I mean. It just blew my mind when
the thing you got to remember also is that Fallout 76 was not made by the core team that did Fallout 4 or Skyrim. It was made by a newly acquired studio that had no real experience with the creation engine. That's why that's why the bugs from the original release of Fallout 76 were still, or Fallout 4 were still in Fallout 76, because they didn't get the memo. They didn't, and so. It wasn't their A team. It was this brand new C team basically. Now I think they're called Bethesda.
I mean, like I know
Texas
since
now.
the Microsoft bought, they hired a shitload more people since Microsoft bought.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
Definitely.
we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I'm still waiting for Starfield. We got 3 months for Starfield, unless they push it back.
I'm not crazy about Starfield at all.
Well, they're coming out with a mod for Fallout 4 also for Fallout London, which looks really good.
That
they
does
did
look
one
neat.
for Miami too. I think it's Miami or something.
There's
like
a
that.
Miami one as well, but that one, I don't know. I tried the demo of it from what they had so far, and it needs a lot of work.
Somebody was making a Fallout Milwaukee one that had, and one of the things that they added in there was the Fonzie statue. So,
Well, I mean, I admire the fact that they actually go to these places. Like before they did Bar Harbor, they sent a bunch of people to Bar Harbor, Maine, to get the local history of the place. That basically,
Right.
so I mean, there's a lot of research that goes into these games, even when you do like the Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 like sites versus the actual real sites, I mean, they're pretty much spot on. They do a great job. That's what I love about it. So
In
it's like
New Vegas, there really is a Good Springs.
They go there too. It even has the
locations.
same. It even has the same store, the same general store as it is in the game in the town.
Yeah.
And people flock there. Dinky the dinosaur was also something that was real, but
I think the best comparison they did was like when they did like the Fallout, the White House in Fallout like 3 versus the White House, in real life, where it's just a big crater.
well, there actually is a sanctuary too, at Sanctuary Hills, just outside of Boston, and it has a wooden bridge that you have to go over in order to get to.
Well, even in Fallout 4, like the general areas like Lexington, Concord are all in the relative place where they're actually on a map. It's just they're not to the scale. So it's like even with the park in the middle, you know what I'm saying? That's an actual park. And the Freedom Trail actually exists, all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's just not to this one scale,
Not only that, there was all kinds of accuracy in Skyrim too, where the position of Mortal in relation to Solitude. They went there and they took measurements and everything. It was really neat. Sorry, Rick.
That's what they need to do. They need to go to Solitude.
That was a dick answer. That's all I got to say about that.
No, I like this bullshit I just saw here, because The Flash will end its season 9 of the CW, and they said one of the CW's most watched shows. That's not saying much on the CW.
All hail Zaslav, the ender of all things.
So I guess
the World Eater. Sorry, go ahead.
So pretty much the Arrowverse is all but done. I just thought that was so hilarious that it's like the most watched. I'm like, This thing can't even get a 1 on the Nielsen ratings.
No.
When this used to be the WB, shows like
Yeah.
Buffy, Angel, Felicity, Dawson's Creek,
Yeah.
all these other shows.
Smallville.
Yeah, Buffy and Angel are still amazing.
Angel, they were hitting numbers like 5, 4.3. You know, they had Roswell on there too. Not one of my favorites, but you know, still had
Smallville.
Like, I mean, I was literally mad when they ended Angel abruptly. I was like, man, I wanted that show to keep on going.
Well,
And,
you know the story behind that, right?
Why they ended it? No.
Okay, the story was this. WB was notorious about not renewing shows ahead of time. So a lot of the people on Angel, a lot of the actors, you know, were holding off on taking other jobs because they were waiting to see. And finally, Josh Whedon went up there and said, "Hey, I need to know if we're going to be, if this is going to be our last season or if we're going to get renewed because these guys are looking at a job." And they said, "Yeah, we're going to end it." And actually, it came out a little while later, a few years later. A couple of the executives said, "Yeah." Basically, they said, "Yeah, we fucked up there." But I will say this: I did enjoy the open ending.
You know what? The ending wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of like left it out in an open note. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, here we are. This is what's going on. Let's all go and fight this shit. And it ends right there.
Yeah,
You know,
like
I mean-
it's like we fight. Got anything more specific? Well, I
Right.
don't know about you, but I want to slay the dragon. And then it ends with "Let's go to work."
That's what it was. Yeah.
And if you think about it, Buffy kind of ended similar to that when, you know, it was they finally collapsed that hellmouth, and Giles is like, "Well, there's another one over here," and it's like, and then Faith looks at her and goes, "Oh, what do we do now, Buffy?" She just kind of smiles about the future, and I was kind of thinking, both were good endings. But WB, I did a video on that where I talked about.
Wait a second. Didn't Angel end in a confrontation where it looks like they were all going to die?
Yeah, but I mean, it left it open. You know, and
No. It didn't leave it open. They were going to die. Like the opposite side chasing them was a whole shitload of demons. I don't think they were going to survive that at all.
science fiction. No one
It was
dies.
totally overwhelming. I was like, "What the hell of the ending is this? They're all dead." I mean, really? I mean, am I having a lost?
I mean, like,
lost
like Edson Kim died what, 6 times?
episode?
No, but I mean, I like how they did it overall.
Silence
But I mean,
Pee-wee.
yeah, WB. Okay, Seventh Heaven, Everwood. One thing about the WB that CW tries to say is, well, we have diversity. You don't have diversity of content. The WB had diversity of content. You have things from like family shows like Seventh Heaven, Everwood to Dawson's Creek, Coming of Age Kids. You had Smallville for the superheroes. You had Buffy and you had Angel for the sci-fi kind of era. They had a diversity of content. You could find something on the WB.
It's true. Well, I mean, because it was like that teenage type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like even like I'm surprised, like something like, because I watched all the Killjoys, right? Horrible fucking series. And
I never made it past the first season.
yeah, and I just watched it to watch it, and that should have been a CW show, 100%. Should have been a CW.
What pissed me off was they canceled Dark Matter and then said, "Oh, we're giving Killjoys."
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
They canceled Dark Matter and then they give Killjoys 2 more seasons. I was like, why didn't you just give them both 4 seasons?
Well, Killjoys
today.
The only reason they did that was because Killjoys was an original series and Dark Matter wasn't. That was the only reason.
And Killjoys sucked.
They had the numbers. They had the numbers to survive, but because it wasn't an original, they couldn't profit off of it as much as they could Killjoys, so they kept Killjoys. Yeah, it was bullshit. I agree. And Killjoys sucked. Like the next season was horrible. Well, the whole thing was horrible. But yeah.
Yeah, are you having fun playing with your new toys today?
Yes, I am having fun playing with my new toys. Yes, I have the official Deep Space Nine station, along with a full complement of ships protecting DS9.
Oh, nice.
I'll show you in a moment as soon as I get back inside.
The XL or?
Yeah,
I believe. I don't know. It's pretty freaking big.
No,
Does
none
it-
of them are
does it-
XL.
Does it have a stand or does it just sit on its pylons?
It sits on its pylons.
Yeah, the ladder.
My Eagle Moss,
And
my
then you-
Eagle
then you
Moss
have the
one
sen-
sits on its pylons.
Yeah, its lower pylons
Yeah.
are stubbier than
Yeah.
the upper ones.
Yeah.
But just
Yeah,
at
see,
a
I've got,
different angle.
I've got the XL, and it's more accurate and has its own stand.
You know, I
Well, good for you. Want a fucking cookie?
Somebody at work got me this.
Yeah, yeah. None of you are as good as me because I have that version, and you don't.
At least mine's sturdier.
But yeah,
Yeah, I have this. Yeah, I
like,
have the
like
same
much.
thing. Not Elihu, LDG.
And surprisingly, how they got the. What I'm really pissed off is how they got the scale completely off.
Dude, they're not
see,
gonna be.
They're not
the
the
final.
scale.
They're
They're
not
not the
the
scale.
They
No,
don't
Jack,
make
that's what I'm
any-
talking about. Thank you for just
They're-
repeating
they're-
what I just said. They're not
they're
to
not-
scale.
No
They're
reason
not-
to get
they're not
mad about because they
trying.
don't design them that way.
Right? They don't
Design
try
it
to put them to
Dude,
scale. Numbskull?
dude, can you do me a favor? Can you open your mouth and blow me? Because I want to scale, and
Have a
that's
reasonable
exactly what,
argument.
what
If
I
you
want matters.
If you want scale, don't get Eagle Moss.
You know, I will say this about Eagle Moss.
Okay, first of all, I didn't get it. Someone gave it to me. So again,
You could have rejected it.
open mouth and wide.
You could have
You could've
rejected
rejected it.
Darren compilation and blowing me.
Well, one of the biggest problems with Eagle Moss is
They're
and I know
bankrupt.
I have quite a bit of
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not doing
Is-
good right now.
their shit is not very sturdy, and their stands suck.
Yeah, Eagle Moss sucks. I said that from day one.
Oh.
I said
Hey,
that since
Kronos.
Bird got his and broke it. Day one.
They are hit or miss. They are hit or miss. I agree.
Well, I had one time.
No, it's
something
miss,
actually
miss, miss,
really
miss,
fell
miss.
on my- well, something.
You're a miss.
Yes, it's been in the works. They just need a green light. There's a script supposedly by Wright, and there's been submitted, but they're just waiting for the green light to do the new Stargate. And he says it's going to be, he's going to have a different take on it. So I mean, I guess they're going to change the way some of the gates. I don't know. So we'll see what happens.
Eagle Moss is bankrupt. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing too well financially right now.
Kronos says, calling Mr. LTG, Mr. LTG, you're wanted at the print desk.
Well, I have a decent amount of Eagle Moss, but
Yeah.
you know, I kind of got to a point where I said, you know, I mean, some of the stuff they have is just kind of like, I don't want the concept stuff. I just wanted the certain ships.
Well, they
Hey,
kind of
guys.
saved the concept stuff for after they'd already done most of the regular ships.
Now, I will say this: I did finally get this one. This was one thing I was looking for.
Oh, nice.
The Doomsday Machine was really one that I was having a hell of a time finding. There's my DS9.
What Grandpa won't show you is his huge collection of Discovery ships.
Well, there's the Eagle Moss had the DS9 and then a DS9 XL.
That's because you know damn well I don't have them. I do have Deep Space K7.
There you go.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to order this year was a K7 to complement my Deep Space Nine. Now it looks like I probably won't be able to.
I hope they do.
I pre-ordered the XL Stargazer back in January, and yeah, I don't think I'm going to get that now.
I mean, I hope they do a K7 show, to be honest. We need another space station show.
I was pretty happy to get this one too. Starbase. I was very happy to find that. But these stands are such a pain in the ass. They don't.
That's a big issue I hear with people is the stands.
Well, I've got like 6 different ones where the stands are broke now, and also that they are a pain in the ass to get them to attach.
Yeah, you almost have to put a drop of super glue in there to make sure that they stay, because otherwise they'll just come apart. And
Yeah.
on the XL line, the ships are so heavy, and some of them are so lopsided in terms of their weight that it can be challenging to keep them in their stands. The Voyager one in particular is so, you know, I mean, it falls forward all the time.
I can see that. I mean, it's got to be super heavy up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I mean, it's going to be off weight just looking at it. But I heard that the Deep Space Nine XL has the same issue.
Yeah.
No. The Deep Space Nine actually is actually pretty good because it's the stand is whatever they call it, equidistant from all the edges, so it's perfectly balanced.
Is that the XL one though? Is there that
the XL? That's the one I've got. Is the XL? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the XL one. I have the regular
the one he's got in his hands right now. That's the smaller one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I got the smaller one, but there's no stand for it, and this actually sits better than most of the other ones do.
Hey, Darren, look in the private chat.
Let me see here.
Did you just look up the same thing I did there, Deej?
Probably.
Yeah, and also if you go to Eagle Moss and you try to buy stuff off of there, you have better luck finding them on eBay because that's where I found the Doomsday Machine.
Deej, you looked up the exact same one I did.
You'll pay about
$55 and
it used to be if they were out of stock on Eagle Moss's site, you could go to Amazon and usually find it, but they'd mark it up by $10 to $15.
Yeah.
But now they're having like an Eagle Moss sale on Amazon, trying to get rid of them all because they don't think they're going to get any more. And
now
they're getting like.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually went up in value because of the company.
I imagine, yeah. I mean, right now you can get some ships for 35% off.
Well, why do you think they're going? Why do you think they're probably doing that? Because pretty much now they're making new Trek stuff, and nobody wants it.
You got to remember also that they also do DC Comics and WWE and all these other things.
Yeah,
and
they
those
do
are
a bunch of stuff, dude. A bunch of stuff.
All their franchises are in decline right now in terms of quality and audience and things like that. I mean, DC Comics is a shadow of what it was before, and so they're not making any money off of those statues. WWE isn't doing so hot now. I mean, the McMahons are probably going to sell it to NBC. Then you've got the Star Trek situation. Once they got all their Berman era and Desilu era ships out of the way, they even had initially they had a Discovery subscription thing where you would and what they ended up having to do because no one was getting the Discovery subscription. They folded those ships into the regular one. That was pissing people off. People subscribe to the XL subscription,
Yeah.
And all it is TMP era and TNG era stuff. And all of a sudden they get the Discovery XL, and it's like, what the fuck, Yeah. And there was a lot of people that were ending their subscriptions and then renewing just to avoid that ship,
Well, there was a lot. Yeah, there was that thing because they did have it, and you had to go through, and otherwise they just leave it to where, oh yeah, hey, here's all the Discovery ships, and it's like, I don't want this shit.
Anyways, there you go, $66.75 on eBay can get you a K7.
Wow, what are you playing, Darren? What is that?
That's
actually
ESO.
That's not too bad. That's about what I paid for mine from Eagle Moss themselves. So that's actually about what I paid.
Hey, you're not supposed to say that word because you're going to have problems with Cinnabon Bunny if you say that eagle word again.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Cinnabon Bunny's got threats coming.
Oh. Yeah, he can't build his Enterprise, can he?
Yeah, they've shafted him now.
This is the one I want.
I can't.
How many parts did he get? I mean, what percentage of the ship can he build?
Don't know.
Hell, it took me a while to finally get a Borg cube.
But if we really need those models, we can always go raid Thomas Potts because he has a huge collection.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom's got the collection.
What pisses me off is some of these I've even bought, and they'll come with the figure, but they won't come with the book that's supposed to come with it.
Yeah.
Cinnabon Bunny is 2/3 done.
2/3 done. Wow. 2/3 of the Enterprise.
2/3 done with the stuff that he got in?
Yeah, that's what he's got so far, I think.
Or is it 2/3 of the ship?
2/3 of the ship.
I didn't think they even put out 2/3 of the ship yet.
I was always an Excelsior class.
Yeah.
I like my favorite ship is the Vengeance. It's not even like prime timeline. I just like the V and the saucer. That was I think what Into Darkness, or I forgot what ship that was in, Nemesis.
Into Darkness is what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, the Vengeance. Oh man, that ship was awesome looking, dude. I just like the V.
Oh, it's interesting.
You mean the donut saucer?
Yeah.
It had a donut saucer.
I
like that RoboCop was the captain.
Yeah,
right.
Peter Weller, because I saw there's a RoboCop game coming out in 2023.
Yeah,
Peter RoboCop game. Is there a new movie coming?
No, but it's actually Peter Weller's voice and his look.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he sold his likeness to the game so they can, and a lot of it's
Well,
motion
crazy.
control, motion control with his face. So.
Imagine what, like 30 years now?
Yeah, he literally goes, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." I was like, "Oh shit, is that Peter Weller?"
Yeah.
I'm glad the Orville picked up Bruce Boxleitner.
Boxleitner? Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot how to actually pronounce it.
Bruce Boxleitner. Yeah, he just keeps being the president.
You barely recognize him.
Yeah, you can't really recognize him at all. I mean, I didn't know until I was like,
you can.
Oh, his voice is unmistakable.
Yeah,
he's got like that certain voice that just like it's him. Yeah.
What other show is he on?
Babylon 5.
Babylon 5.
What about before that?
Tron.
What about before that? Dallas. Okay. What else was
Dallas.
it? Was he on Scarecrow and Mrs. King too, or was that
He was,
somebody
wasn't
else?
he?
Yep.
Wasn't that him in Scarecrow, Mrs. King?
Yeah. I remember him being in one of those
he was on a show like that. I remember him being on a show like that, like Castle and Castle, or what was it? I forgot the
Hardcastle and McCormick.
It wasn't Hardcastle.
No.
But they had a slew of shows like that. Always like there was like this
like
and this.
Like a moonlighting type of thing where it was
husband and wife or best friends take on crime, or
let me see if I can find that. What that is.
It's like one of those the buddy crime the buddy crime shows with like Werewolf and Riptide and.
Yeah, because I remember him being in a show like that.
It was Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
That's what it was.
Mrs. King? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw that. I don't even know anything about it.
I've seen like a couple episodes like back in the day, but I wasn't interested in it. I was more interested in Airwolf and Riptide.
But before that, he was on TV
Airwolf
shows.
was great until the last season.
Yeah, Ernest Borgnine for a long while before he got like super famous, like lived across the street in this house across the street from me I guess way before I was born in Forest Park. But he was there for quite a while, and then he moved out, and all of a sudden got all these crazy movie things. And
he was in Bring 'Em Back Alive too.
Wasn't Ernest Borgnine in McHale's Navy?
I think so. Yeah.
Could have been. Yeah. I mean, because you're talking about like the '60s and shit like that. Yeah.
Probably played a chief.
Well, I remember when
he was also
Airwolf came out, and I remember enjoying it even as a kid. And I don't know, that last season was just so out of place from the other 3 seasons.
Okay, here's a little trivia. How many times has Bruce Boxleitner played a president?
As far as I know, he did in Babylon 5, and he has in Orville. More than that, I don't know.
He was president in Supergirl.
Wow.
And if you listen to the extras on Dawn of the Dead, the remake, he's the president there too.
Oh,
wow.
I knew he was in. I couldn't remember he was president though.
Yes, he was the president, and the guy that
I was talking about that earlier today.
The guy that played the Doctor in Babylon 5 was the television.
Yeah, he was a news anchor.
News anchor.
Well, he was a soap opera actor or something like that, was he?
Yeah.
Stephen Franklin.
That way.
Stephen Franklin was the doctor's name.
He was in one of my favorite episodes of Tales from the Crypt too, where he played an actor that was a friend of John Lovitz, who they're competing for a role in a Shakespearean play, and Lovitz ends up killing him, and then finding out that the actual part that they were trying out for was Yorick in Hamlet.
Oh yeah.
Yorick was the skull that
Yeah.
Hamlet was holding. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Nice and creepy.
I did like. I did love Tales.
Well, the horror anthology series were great, like Creep Show and Tales from the Crypt and
Freddy's
Friday the
Nightmare.
13th one was. I remember the Friday the 13th one.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side. That beginning is so fucking creepy, even to this day.
That
It's
voiceover.
just trees, happy forest, and creepy music.
Yeah. Well, they show you a couple of local farms from around here in the opening credits. That's what gets me, because I recognize a couple.
And
of
then
them.
it just goes, and it's just what this weird, crazy music behind it. So it makes it look.
Well, no, it's
like
the
it's not happy.
voiceover.
Was there a voiceover? I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Man lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow, I haven't seen it in so long.
I remember. I didn't get to watch Tales from the Dark Side, the series. I did see Tales, but I did see the movie and absolutely loved it. I especially love the ending where the kid actually gets it on the woman who's about to cook him and eat him.
That's Joey Lawrence and Debbie Harry, yeah.
And he's like, and then he gets a cookie, and then he breaks the fourth wall. Don't kids just love happy endings? But the stories in between were really good.
Oh yeah.
My favorite episode of Tales from the Dark Side was the Stephen King short, Word Processor of the God.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Guy built his own computer.
I liked a couple of the Friday the 13th when they did it too, with the item shop that you would go in and people would buy.
Oh shit! You remember that?
Fuck yeah, yeah! I remember the one because this girl got a crystal, right? And like she would look through. She was like track star, right? And she had a crystal and on a chain, and she would look through the crystal and envision herself winning, and she would win, and then she would envision herself dying in the crystal, and people would die. I mean, there were some cool episodes.
There was that was the whole thing that I loved about that Friday the 13th series was it was all about the cursed objects.
Yeah, it was like a cursed object shop, basically.
It had
Right.
nothing
It
to
wasn't
do.
entirely-
It had nothing to do with Jason.
Yeah, it was entirely an anthology series. You had a root plot running through all of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because you had the shop.
Yeah. Well, Freddy's Nightmares was basically what had nothing to do with Freddy. Freddy was, I think, the host. I think in most of them, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Freddy's Nightmares. Yeah. I think the guy
was like he was the keeper. You know?
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Not me.
Not Eugene. Maybe we should ask him a question.
It said, Ricky, do you call that acting?
Acting.
Well, you know, Gory Koopa, you're not even
Very
a Robert Deadford. Keep that
Very
up,
good
and you'll be
puns.
back to bit pots, and you don't want to know what bit pots I'm talking about.
Yes, Gap Warehouse 13 was a good show too.
That I have not seen yet. I did see Eureka and absolutely loved that back when sci-fi was sci-fi, not sci-fi.
Well, I mean, even shows like
yeah.
like The Outer Limits were good too. I mean, like there's a lot of good shows.
The original Outer Limits.
Was it Amazing Tales? Was it Amazing Tales? I think.
Amazing Stories.
Amazing Stories. Yes, where I remember the one where they had the Alamo and like the guy had to go deliver the message from the guy at the Alamo, and then he ended up in like modern day like Texas to like deliver it. And they're like, this letter is like 1800. Like it's from the 1800s, you know. So I mean, like, I mean, there was some. Cool stories.
That was I believe that was the kid from, not E.T. I think he was the kid from the Black Stallion who played that coon-skinned cap person. And at the end of the episode is he goes into the Alamo and shuts the door, and we don't really know what happened after.
Yeah, it kind of ends like that. The other one was like, I remember this guy had this medallion, and he would heal sick people. He was a doctor, but what the medallion would do is manifest the sickness into a monster. And he would fucking kill the monster to release the sickness. And I think that was Amazing Stories or something like that. It was one of those. where it's like like he would just go to people like, oh, you're a doctor, and then he would see the dude and he like put the amulet to the dude. The amulet would manifest the creature. He'd kill the creature, and he would be free from the sickness.
Well, it was Amazing Stories. Also, it had the episode in World War II where the bomber was coming back and the guy was
what I was about to say. That's the first episode of Amazing Stories. It was directed by Steven Spielberg and had Kevin Costner and Kiefer Sutherland in it. And that was
no shit.
That was the one where the bombardier in a World War II bomber got trapped in the belly gun, or the belly gunner got trapped in the belly gun, so he's in that bubble of glass underneath the plane, and a Stuka hits them broadside and disables their landing gear. So the only way they can land the plane is by crushing him to death, and that's the whole premise of the episode. What are they going to do? And then I won't spoil it for anybody, but
please don't. I haven't seen one of the Twilight Zone episodes, which all the originals, some of them were phenomenal, but the one episode where Death shows up for this old woman who's afraid, and he's very nice, kind of like you would really think Death should be as a companion.
Redford,
he's like, and I did not know at the time when I was rewatching these, because I had rewatched them about right around the time the pandemic happened. I was binge watching shit, and Netflix had all the half-hour seasons. And I was like, I forgot about, I remembered the episode, but I forgot how good it was. And then somebody had to point out to me that was Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And
a very young Robert Redford, yeah.
I remember
Mr. Londell. That was actually what shocked me. I was like, oh, shit. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, I just, I had not seen him in a role that young.
Yeah. Amazing Stories also had one of the few appearances of Mark Hamill immediately following Star Wars, where he played a young man growing up in the 50s who had this little imp played by, I think, the midget that played Mr. Wizard or whatever his name was, or Merlin
Willow?
or whatever it was. No, not Willow. It was a TV series. Yeah, and he told him never throw anything away. Your treasures, always keep them. And so he ended up accumulating all this junk, and his parents kicked him out. And then they cut ahead to him, now in the 80s as an old man who can't afford, he's got this old jalopy of a car, and he's at a gas station. He's got a penny jar, and he is trying to buy gas, and this limo pulls up next to him, and a woman rolls down the window. Doesn't ask him for Grey Poupon, but asks him if she could buy that penny thing that he's using for to hold his pennies in. And he goes, sure. And she cuts him a check for $300,000. And turns out that all the stuff that he'd been saving over the years was now highly collectible, including Action Comics #1 and stuff like that. So he ended up dying a very, very wealthy man. And it was every collector's, wettest dream, basically. But, it was a fun.
I knew I kept these for a reason.
Yeah.
GAP After Dark, American Gothic. I remember when that came out. I loved it. I was so pissed when it got canceled.
I remember when they had the Vampire series, the actual Vampire the Masquerade. They made a series.
Kindred the Embraced. Kindred the Embraced.
They're supposed to be making another one, too.
Yeah. Let's just say I used to play Vampire the Masquerade back in the day. I actually just got off of eBay a couple months back and actually got a lot of the clan books I didn't have.
Nice.
Well, here's the thing. This is where I really screwed up. I used to have all that shit. And I was about to be 19. I was joining the Marines, and it was the 90s, and everybody was like, you got to get rid of this kid stuff. Yeah, I did. Well, I'm 42 years old now, and I'd like to go back and bitch slap all those people.
Right? I mean, I had all the books, but I got them all in PDF now. So, I mean, I got
them on PDF. I got them on PDF, too, but there's no substitute for the real thing.
It was always the redneck idiots that told you needed to grow out of that stuff. I've noticed. The sophisticated people never told me that.
Well, I mean, it's like I wish I wish we had the tools to DM back in the day like we do now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I could have just opened up a laptop. All right, here we are, guys. Or have like this big printout of where your character is actually standing. Like, we didn't have none of that. None of that. Imagination was imagination back then.
Right.
Did you have a particular clan you like to be?
Giovanni.
Giovanni, nice. I went with Gangrel or Bruja. I did do one that was completely out of my comfort zone once. I did a bloodline, not a clan. I actually played a daughter of Cacophony.
The daughter of Cacophony. Yeah, no, they were cool. Some of the bloodlines, even like the Black Hand, right? So, I mean, if you're talking about like the Incarnu and the Black Hand, I mean, those are
Racist.
the legit like most powerful vampires.
I also
So,
played.
like, I mean, I like the
Okay,
True Bruja. I like the Nagaraja. I like the Shimize. I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean,
Yep.
they were the more interesting ones. The Black Hand?
Oh, yeah, I know about the Black Hand.
Well, I mean, there's
Savage,
clans of the Black Hand. and
Gorilla.
That's the true. Yeah. Well, the Black Hand was the underground, like,
Yep, they were the
evil sect, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then they had the True Bruja, they had the Shimize, they had the Nagaraja, and there's a couple more in there that I forgot.
I also played a really fucked up Malkavian.
Later, Mouse.
But their powers were like the True Bruja was temporis, which was like time manipulation. And like the Shimize had vicissitude, which was like you can like literally just like take flesh.
Body sculpting.
Yeah, body sculpting.
Body sculpting. Fucked up shit. Cool. Fucked up shit.
Yeah, they had some really ridiculous powers, you know. And then you had the bloodlines like the Sadites and people not from the main clans.
I played in a game where we played Sabat where I had that vicissitude shit, and it's like, oh god, that was fun. I learned how to really.
It's such a ridiculously powerful sphere. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I like taking like thralls or what are they called?
Making the big monster thrall.
Yeah, like just have like a thrall follow me around and just like shape him. Every time I'd level up, I'd shape him with like different. I turn his body into like armor and spiked weapons and.
Oh, it's ridiculous. The power was like ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous
crazy shit.
I finally got another copy of this. I really had to look for it.
I have one too.
I used to have this. Actually, when I went and saw my buddy James,
and that's second edition.
Now, you know what the hardest part about playing Vampire the
That's the only
Masquerade
one I
is?
want.
You know what the hardest part about playing Vampire the Masquerade is? Reading the Malkavian book.
Right?
That was a chore.
The Malkavians, man.
Oh my god! That you had to hold it up to a mirror on like 2 pages.
Yeah, I also got the werewolf one. But werewolf wasn't in hardcover. I got the paper cover werewolf one.
Yes, LDG.
I need to find a player's guide that's got the old Jupiter descending flaw, because that was like my favorite flaw in that.
I mean, Mage. As far as Mage goes, Mage is like the best magic system in RPGs by far.
Motherfucking sorcerer.
I didn't like.
Remember
Mage.
this one, Ricky? Ghouls.
Oh, yeah, just
Ghouls.
couldn't wrap my head around it.
Hey, look, I asked.
I
how
was
long
the only
should
one in my
Deej
group
go?
that liked Wraith, though. But maybe that's because I played.
Wraith was cool, yeah, but Wraith was its own little world. Same with Changeling. But I mean, Mage.
I combined Wraith with my Giovanni, which made it awesome.
Oh, there you go.
They're like, okay, you just captured a Wraith, Tim. How do you want to do it? I just happen to have the Wraith, the Oblivion book. Can I make my Wraith out of this? He's like, sure. Okay.
But Deej,
I mean, it's kind of crazy that the Wraiths like are their own currency. Like their bodies are broken up and used as the currency for the underworld. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So here's what I got in the clan book. Here's what I've got so far in the clan books. I got the La Sombra.
La Sombra, that's another one.
are you really surprised by that, Deej? Are you?
No, I'm
really
not surprised.
Ravenos. The gypsy vampire.
My personal favorite.
The Gangrel. Gangrel.
Fuzzies. They're where the furries started from.
Giovanni.
Giovanni. Yeah. They Dalberized someone to be vampires.
The Ventru.
Okay,
That's the regular Ventru.
The Assamites.
Yes.
Yes,
Hey,
Eric, I
Chris.
could mute people, but I don't want to be mean like that.
The Torador, which are the clan that the daughters of Cacophony were the bloodline of.
Yeah, they're the artsy fucks.
Yep.
Archie Sorcerer.
Tremere
Yeah, they have an interesting history too.
and the Zanisi.
No race?
Those are the ones I got so far.
Shibase.
Where's the harpies?
Dude, that's as far as I could get. Actually, most of those I got off one eBay where for like $60, the guy was selling all those for $60.
Yeah, if you can get the physical copies, it's probably well worth having. You know, I mean, there's a lot of lore, and especially when you start getting into stuff like the Book of Nod and all
I
the other
had
stuff.
the Book of Nod back in the day.
With the Knights of Knee.
The Knights of Knee. I got a shrubbery outside.
Remember, in the show you were talking about, I remember was Kindred the Embraced.
That's what it was, yeah. But they're making a new one. So I mean,
you remember one of the downsides was the guy who played the then true Prince, Luna. He unfortunately he died in a motorcycle accident.
oh no shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he died in a motorcycle accident. But that show was, for one season that we got of it, I actually thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was cool. I remember watching it. It's
It was interesting. My friend Rich raved about it, and I started watching it, and I was like, it doesn't seem as good as he was.
because it
raving
was
about,
from
but
a different
it's not
time.
bad.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
Like
bad, but
Tej, at this point, you could probably go to sleep and nobody would even notice.
Nobody would
I
notice. You could pull a bird o' prey.
he's already
Totally.
asleep.
I am not asleep.
I asked him if you're not even paying attention. I asked him if he slept. He said he slept like 6 hours. I'm the one who had to deal with him this morning when he couldn't wake up for some reason. He couldn't go to sleep. And then he wanted to live stream at like 6 a.m.
Do you know there used to be
when I go to bed.
Ensign Ricky, there used to be this website way back early on in the internet days. It was called
Rotten.com.
No.
Yes, Gap. I was going to mention that show 15 minutes ago when they started the Vampire Talk, but I couldn't get it in, so yeah.
Oh yes, with Nicholas Knight, or as he was known as Nicholas Sabelbon.
Morbius. 0.1.
But there was shit. I forgot what I was gonna say now.
You can now talk, DJ.
My bad. Sorry.
No, when Kindred the Embraced, the one thing about Kindred the Embraced, there was only really one mistake they did. They made the Gangrel more the bikers, which that was fit more with the Bruja.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, because the Gangrel loners, so I mean, like, and then you know what? It's like, when you think of it, I mean, there's not supposed to be that many vampires in the city, right? Even in a city of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, there's only supposed to be a certain amount of vampires. And that number is usually very low. But it's like the games I played, it's like every other motherfucker is a vampire. I swear to God.
Yeah, the games we played, there was a community of 100 vampires over here with their freaking herds and their, everybody's got a herd of like 5 points so they can just munch on whatever the fuck they want.
Right. I mean, that's how we ran it, at least. I mean, just because it's like, it was hard to be like you and like 5 other dudes running this town.
Well, one of the best parts about my daughter of Cacophony was she was one a bloodline, not a clan. She was a female and she was a socialite. And one of her merits I gave her was having a haven. And I spent my points in haven and influence. Like basically, she was she didn't have the prince's ear, but she had the premature ear. She had a premature ear. And then I had a haven where that was where she sang at. Kind of like the Torador had in the show Kindred the Embraced, where that was a haven for everyone to come into. And it was a very different character than I had used to play, but I wanted to do. I've been now playing different RPGs now for about 3-4 years, and I was like, I want to play something different. I want to play something outside my comfort zone. I didn't want to play a character that was super badass and could fight. I wanted a character that actually had more of a different look.
Yeah, I mean, it gets cool when you can mix all the vampires, werewolves, and mages together too. You know what I'm saying in stories, and you like it. But mages are just OP. They're just fucking ridiculously OP. I mean, they're more OP than vampires, more OP than werewolves. I mean, so I mean, it's like I don't know, but it's still the best magic system I think RPGs ever come up with, because it's like you create what you want to do. You say, storyteller, I want to do this by doing this, and you have to get creative to do it. Just to not totally paradox yourself to fucking death. Coincidental magic and whatnot. But I mean, it was very thought and in the book they didn't give you they kind of gave you the scale of power that you had as far as the spheres. They kind of this is about the level you're at. They don't give you well, you can do this. They put a couple examples in there of what you can do with it at that level. But I mean, for the majority of casting magic, it was up on the player. We had to come up with the spells. This is the spell I'm going to create. This is what I'm going to do. And it was situational. So it's getting through metal detectors or whatever, something simple where you would have to figure out a way to make it look coincidental so it didn't look crazy. Or say dropping a light fixture on someone or something like that. You make it look coincidental so you're not flying it across the room, just to hit this dude. But it made it very interesting.
One thing Kindred the Embrace did very well was they actually had Camarilla Law really done right, because if you expose vampires to other people, you're basically done. You're going final death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the big no-no.
There's a couple of big no-nos in Camarilla Law as far as vampires.
Oh, absolutely. You can't diablerize.
The other one of the big ones is diablerizing children. Not a good idea.
No,
my character, my first Malkavian, was taken in at 12 years old.
So you had the child.
Yeah, way too young. I didn't know that at the time until I made the character, and they're like, yeah, that's that's bad. I'm like, well, we'll have to figure it out. So I also had an obsession with ice cream. So they called me Ice Cream Man. And to quell this urge to constantly look for ice cream during a mission or whatever the hell we were doing, one of my friends said, okay, we're going to procure this fucker an ice cream truck. Let's find him a fucking ice cream truck. We're going to park it outside. Tell him, you sit here, stand watch. Okay, I'll sit here and stand watch. I'm sitting here eating fucking ice cream, standing watch. I did have the eat food trait, by the way, so I didn't go, regurgitate the shit. And
I just like to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
During the quest, everybody was getting their asses whooped by werewolves. Apparently, werewolves. We like to mix the genres. So they were fighting werewolves, and they're like, "Ice Cream Man, get your ass in here!" I'm like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" Oh, I got an idea. The keys are in the truck. I'll get in the truck, start her up. Do I know how to drive? No. I'll just aim it the right way and put my foot on what looks like the gas. That's the gas. Barreling through the front door of the warehouse. And as it goes through, I lean out the door and I'm like, how about some soft serve, assholes? My buddy George, he was in mid-drink. We were drinking alcohol. He just spits it out everywhere. He busts out laughing. My other friend choked on a chicken wing. It's just like, we weren't expecting that.
We had
hilarious.
I just like to point out that during the rectification of the Voldrani, the Traveler came as a giant moving torb. Then during the third reconciliation of the last of the McTetric supplicants, it chose a new form for him, that of a giant slore. Many shubs and souls knew what it was to be roasting the dips of the for that day, I can tell you.
I don't understand. I don't know what's worse: the fact that we're sitting here reminiscing about our game, and you could remember that fucking line. I mean, I can't remember that line. I've seen that movie 400 times. I don't remember that fucking line.
I remember
Or 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
I remember this time where we had our buddy Matt, and he is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he really let it go in games. So you literally had
Half the people in
his
this room are cuckoo
character-
for Cocoa Puffs, so we're
Right.
used to it.
character in a game had a gun pointed at him saying, "I'm going to blow your brains out." And literally his character did this. He goes, "This is what my character does." Thump. Puts his finger right in the barrel. The game, the GM was just like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Okay, we need a smoke break."
You had fortitude, didn't you?
Yeah,
No,
fortitude
he had
like 5,
fortitude.
6.
Yeah, he had fortitude. It was just so funny. It threw
Still
us
to
all-
aggravated damage.
it just threw us all for a loop. It's like, what? See, as much as
Wait, did you hear that?
I can't keep it up.
Did another
Shut
tree
up.
fall before?
That's what I heard. Yeah. Oh, what?
He can't keep it up. This poor man.
What do you hear is the inconsistent sound of my kid's
No,
keyboard.
I can't hear nothing, LDG.
Oh dear.
Clack,
Can't hear
clack.
anything.
Nope.
I love Honey I Shrunk the Kid. But yeah, it's funny. People used to give us a lot of shit back in middle school and high school for playing these games, and I'm thinking these games probably kept me out of juvie.
Yeah,
They'd
it's
have beat
true.
the crap. They'd have beat
I mean,
the
I would've
crap out of
thought
you for having a conversation like this in public too.
Well, if
It-
it
it-
wasn't for video games, I mean, I would have been on the street a lot more. Probably doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Or music, I guess. I mean, music kind of kept me out of trouble too.
It also kept your virginity there, MB.
Well, see, it's it's like we kind of grew up in the wrong generation. It's like I remember, like back in the day, growing up, there was like, I mean, I could count on my fingers the amount of like female musicians I knew personally. You know what I'm saying, that were like my age, and even like gamer girls. Now it's like every girl's a fucking gamer, and she's shredding like Eruption on a guitar. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck?
Now, my favorite thing is now it's like, oh, geek culture's popular now. You're all making money off it. You're fucking welcome.
Right? For real. I mean, like that shit really started fucking a long time ago.
It's like
does.
if it wasn't for us when it was unpopular and it was a niche and it was just us and we were getting our asses handed to us and being made fun of throughout school, we still stuck out. We still did it because, well, it was our escape from reality. And if you grew up in high
Geek
school,
culture goes back to frickin'
Yeah, I mean,
Shakespeare days, for God's sakes. Geek
absolutely.
culture, dude. It's not 90s, 80s, 70s. That shit goes back to the 1700s.
LTG.
I remember when I used to like listen to
Damn,
Prince back in
LTG, do you have to be a buzzkill about every fucking thing on the
the-
planet?
Jesus Christ.
Why do you have to kill your buzz for, dude?
Because
Okay,
you
so
are always
it's
trying to be a
been-
pain in the ass.
It's been my contention that one of the reasons why our beloved franchises have fallen so recently is because those people who made fun of us in high school are now in charge of those IPs.
And now
It
they
hasn't,
want it their
yeah,
way.
but that's not new news, though. It's been declining for a long time. I mean, shit, it goes all the way back. I mean, I remember shows declining when I was a kid, for God's. This is not new. None of this shit is new. I mean,
Well,
there are
in general, you're right, but I'm talking about the specific stuff that we watch. We indulged in, for example, in the '80s.
Well, their whole thing.
Yeah,
now-
everything's a cycle, man. Everything's gonna come right back. Watch, mark my words. Always does.
Well, it's
Well,
like
that's
when
true.
you see that thing where they talk about
Humanity is very
we're
simple.
adding things into Lord of the Rings that Tolkien forgot. You mean the world he
You know,
built?
I remember when females were actually playing female roles. I wouldn't be surprised if they were calling those things woke. What?
Right.
Men not playing females? What? That's woke.
That's woke, son. Woke.
I remember this one time at band camp.
They tried to
LDG has officially transformed into LSD now, so we better than this train.
Dude, I've been
No,
LSD
that's
for
LDS.
way too long.
It's LDS.
Yeah, exactly. Get it right.
They tried a remake of V Chronos. It didn't work.
No, because
one of the things that made V work so well was the limited special effects. Because you didn't
Will
see
the real
them all
Sauron
that
please
often.
stand up?
actually, what made the real
Will the real
original
Spartacus please stand
work
up?
was the actors.
No, what made V work was less about its science fiction aspect and more on the political aspect. Like, for example,
Talk about
ratting out your neighbor, saying, "Oh, I think somebody's smuggling a scientist out."
Well, that was in the first miniseries. I guess I'm talking about the thing as a whole.
Well, you had to remember you had the one guy who obviously remembered from being in the concentration camps, and he's like, "I know what's going on."
That was in the first one, but I'm talking about like the franchise as a whole. You know, that you're talking about just the initial miniseries.
I only know the miniseries and the miniseries that came right after the whole series afterwards. I did not watch, and I didn't watch the remake. Those were the only things I knew.
Some of the best characters was like Michael Ironside.
Yes, but I like how he did. I like how
series,
the old man went and he goes, "If you're going to do it right." And he puts V for victory, which was the premise of it.
He was in the miniseries too.
Well, it stood for visitors initially,
Mm-hmm.
and then they changed it.
And
I
plus,
know they're talking.
Shane Badler was just hot, so there was that.
Yeah.
I know they're talking about remaking Babylon 5 on the CW. I'm thinking, and then I saw something. Well, there won't be a CW. I just saw
Straczynski's involved. So I mean, it's Straczynski's plot. So, but the CW is the only one that was willing to put up the money or some shit at the moment. So he's looking.
Yeah,
he's marketing it out.
Yeah, but they're trying to sell, and they don't really have much to offer. Like I said, Flash is over after this season, so the only
in the middle of the season, they're ending it early. I heard.
The only show they have left that is part of that Arrowverse or whatever was that Superman show that I haven't watched.
No, they took
Superman.
Superman.
Legends of Tomorrow.
They took Superman out of the
Legends of
Arrowverse.
Tomorrow is canceled.
Is it?
They took Superman is out of the Arrowverse now. It's no longer in the Arrowverse.
Yeah, and Legends of Tomorrow has been canceled.
Well, I mean, because back when Arrow was first on, like shows were actually kind of good still.
Arrowverse, Arrow was good.
Well, I mean, looking at shows like Sleepy Hollow, I thought Sleepy Hollow was good. You know, they canceled that. I mean, there's a lot of good shows. They had a lot of good shows on at that point in time, and then everything just went woke to shit.
Arrow was good the first 4 seasons. Flash
That's what I'm
was
saying.
good the first 2 seasons. Legends of Tomorrow was good for like the first 3 seasons, and that was
3 seasons. Yeah,
Agents of Shield, I didn't really
crazy.
So I mean,
that's I
Shield was
loved
okay.
Agents of
They had a good that space one where they were in space with the blue guys. That kind of got me back to it, but then it just fell off.
And Agent Carter was good.
He's aight.
Now, my only thing is, how are you going to make a B5 remake?
It's not going to be a remake.
They had the beautiful plot. You could totally remake Babylon 5.
What DMS has been saying, it's not going to be a remake. It's going to be like a whole new thing.
Yeah, I mean,
reimagining.
Same universe.
Well, I can do a remake.
Korean fucking is what it's really going to be.
I like the Battlestar Galactica reimage. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, because Ronald D. Moore headed it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't.
There was some care there. Yeah.
The guinea pigs are
So,
here.
Tommy,
And he was pissed at Star Trek.
I watched the first couple seasons of
He's like, I'm
Outlander.
going to stick into these fucks.
Outlander is a pretty decent show. It's more like chick flicky. But I mean, Ronald D. Moore does a great job in Outlander. I mean, that show looks phenomenal. Ira Steven Berg did a season of Outlander too.
The only one I'm worried about is when they redo this whole Stargate thing.
Oh,
we'll see.
His new script too. It's Wright came up with the script. He's just trying to get the green light. But at least the original people are writing this. Like Straczynski is going to write the new Babylon 5 and write as well as the Stargate team. Probably even Joseph Malozzi and all those guys will jump on as soon as they get the green light to do it. You know, it's just Richard Dean Anderson keeps on getting bigger and bigger. I don't know if the old crew will probably do cameos because I mean even like Amanda Tappings has stayed pretty current as far as like shows she's been on and directed.
Did you ever see Sanctuary?
Sanctuary, no.
No, I skipped that one. I couldn't.
That was an Amanda Tapping show. That's why she left Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, she did a.
Well, I know she's like a director now more than anything she does, but she does appearances. She was on a fucking what is it? What?
Well, that was the whole. Everybody thought that. A lot of people thought she got kicked off of Stargate Atlantis. She didn't. They had while she was on her free time, they did web episodes of the show Sanctuary, and Sci-Fi liked it so much they actually commissioned it, and we got, in my opinion, my wife and I loved it. We got 4 good seasons out of that.
I liked the show too. I thought it was kind of an interesting take on Jack the Ripper and shit in that show.
Yeah, she, it's basically she calls the monsters abnormals, and what she does is she created a sanctuary for them, and she's basically kind of an immortal.
Oh.
And one of the abnormals was Jack the Ripper. Another one was Nikola Tesla.
And he was kind of a vampire.
Yeah. Nikola Tesla.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have to check that out. She was in a bunch of shit. I mean, she stayed pretty current. She's still doing shit. She's still producing, directing.
And I liked her look in that with the long, dark, curly hair.
I mean, she's probably my favorite woman in sci-fi by far. I think. I mean, as far as like the television.
Well, some people thought, because she kissed a girl in it, that now she was a lesbian. I was like, dude, she's immortal, and she basically said, hey, it's been a long time since somebody kissed like that. So I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And that was pretty much the end of it. But it had a very good premise to it. Basically, she hires a guy to help her with her sanctuary, because she has these abnormals who she's trying to take care of, but then there are some abnormals there that she kind of has to also protect them from themselves because they're that dangerous.
Well, she did Supernatural too, didn't she?
I've only seen Supernatural all the way through once, and to be honest, it went on way too fucking long.
All right, guys, I'm taking off. I'll see you later.
Hey, Darren.
I'll be bailing out here in a couple minutes. Anthony's texting me.
Party time. Finally.
Anthony's got the stream going.
They got to go do music.
One of the games I really liked was that Alien game that had to deal with Ripley's daughter, and it stayed so true to the way the movie looked. I was just like, damn, this was good. And the ambiance, and you're not going to be able to kill the alien. You have to learn that real quick. Once you learn, you are not. And people were pissed. They're like, you can't kill the alien this way. You don't get a gun. You don't do it. I'm thinking, yeah, that's what makes the goddamn game so scary, is you actually have to hide. Isolations, yes. Yeah, you have to hide from that motherfucker. And you got the music and the low lighting, and you're just like, I mean, it put chills in me.
All I want to know is where they are.
Well, we're not Vasquez. Yes, I know who you're talking.
Hello, Shifty.
But I think Babylon 5 did the Jack the Ripper thing great too. Like their Jack the Ripper episode was amazing, I thought. Where Morlocks took Jack the Ripper and kind of made him their inquisitor.
Well, what about in Babylon 5 where it was basically implied that Sebastian was Jack the Ripper?
He was Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
I know he was, and that was how it was implied.
And they're like, well, we did a search. I mean, I'm glad their records go great back to 1800s, and they're like 20 whatever, 20 fucking. The records, like, we checked the 1800s records. Even if you check the 1800s records now, they're spotty as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't imagine they'd be any better 500 years into the future.
Yes, Kronos, I played Haunted House for the Atari.
Splatterhouse. It was all about Splatterhouse.
I did not play that Atari game. I did not have it. And that was actually my first game system with Atari. 2600.
Yeah, and Atari, we got a Atari 2600. That was our first game system. And Pitfall and all that shit.
Oh,
I was like, man, it's amazing. It can never get any better than this. And then like Nintendo came out, it's like, man, this is amazing. It can't even ever get better than this. Then PlayStation came out, like, holy Christ, full motion video.
I did have the Atari 2600, and that was the first game system I had, but it was not the first joystick I played with.
Yeah, I mean, my friend had a television, and then my other friend had a. There you go, right?
Really, what was his name?
No, it was at the arcade.
Oh, really? So he would get you at the arcade?
Shut up! You
I guess that's a nice
talking
place
about
to
game systems at the arcade.
Gay what?
Tron.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not. I have the power.
One joystick. Two joysticks. Three. I don't have an extra hand.
And here I was considering on doing a long stream, and then LDG had to ruin it with his.
It's perverted nature.
Bellboy present.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, like you were going to do a long stream.
I was thinking about going for however long people wanted me to go.
But you already did that. You don't have to blame me for that shit.
I must go play music. So if you're still here after,
why are you gay?
Music time. I will talk to you guys later.
Thank you for coming.
Enjoy your joysticks.
Why are you gay?
Gone.
The cat fall asleep.
He's probably just waiting to try to get a word in edgewise too.
When's that ever stopped him before?
Not my stream, so yeah, just waiting patiently.
Yeah, to me.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Kronos is clapping now. It only took me 3 streams in 24-hour time period to get Kronos to show up.
I got one hand on a joystick.
Yeah, I know. I still have at least 10 more minutes there, but because I asked like 40 minutes ago how long I should go, and told me at least 45 minutes. So.
Cap, what was the last time you did a stream anyway?
15 days ago.
I didn't
How
ask
do you know?
Because people actually keep track.
I was going to say I thought it was about 2 weeks. So, yeah.
Well, 2 weeks is 14 days, so you're only a day off.
I'd say I was pretty damn close for off the top guess.
LDG stalks your streams, so he knew exactly which day it was.
Actually, I don't, but let's just say I hear from proxy.
Anything coming out you're excited about?
Just like I haven't seen a stream from NB in a while.
That's
I
because
would-
Chris.
my streams are. That's because
I mean,
my
Tim.
streams are random, and I don't care half the time. I just do what I want, and I do it when I feel like it.
Hell, I would go 48 hours if circumstances were right.
Sorry, I can't do those kind of streams. I'd rather
Such
stick
as
to- Well, I don't know.
gotta
What are you looking? Anything you're looking forward to, Cap? Any streams coming out? Anything? Any shows coming out on anything you like?
not really. Not really.
I'll be
I was
honest.
going to do a Nichelle Nichols one.
Yeah, but everybody else is doing them, and I thought that I don't need another stream. Streaming over somebody else doing one. It's like, nah.
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Nichelle Nichols. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, so you're calling me no one?
Well, I'm nobody, so deal with it.
Because I'm not doing one. Jeez. So everybody can't be doing it if I'm not doing it. No, Kronos, I'm not doing a 72-hour stream unless people pay me to do that shit. That's way too long.
Anyway, it's also the summer. It's also the summertime, so we're taking our time working out in the yard, trying to get houseworks done. We finally got our driveway, got the rock laid where we wanted it to. So I didn't realize this when my wife got a disposal unit brought to the house so we could put a lot of our bulk in, so I didn't have to drive 30 minutes 4 or 5 times to the dump, because every time I go to the, unfortunately, unlike in South Carolina, when I went to the dump, it was free. I have to pay every time I go. And then my wife was like, this is $275. I was like, I was thinking it was those green bins I had seen back in South Carolina. No, it was one of those huge ass fucking bins like you see at work and stuff. And I was like, oh, nice. And boy, did we fill that fucker up.
That's right. I honor Nichelle, but hey, I'm not going to do the Nichelle Nichols stream just to try to capitalize on something. I did that last week.
I don't have time for that.
Let's see. Kronos watched Star Trek. Okay. I don't know what the hell else to do for the night. At least I shouldn't be bugged to do another live stream for at least 12 hours.
I'm gonna go get off of here in a few minutes and watch another episode or two of Burn Notice.
I never could get into that show.
I like it. I like it for its more psychological aspect of it.
Which one is Burn Notice again?
It's the spy it's the CIA agent who got burned.
Oh yeah. That was the old USA show. I used to like that show.
Yeah, it was one of those ones I had not gotten to. Kind of like White Collar. I did finish that show, quite enjoyed that. And I'm enjoying Burn Notice.
I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch Pippin Pee-wee. That's what I'll do tonight. I don't know.
I started watching the anime series Overlord. It's kind of interesting.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that one.
It's another one of those people get ported into like a video game kind of thing, but they're playing their characters in the game. Very fantasy driven. The main character is playing a necromancer, and he's got his own little guild of characters that are just kicking everybody's ass.
Kronos asks, what's the difference between theatrical Star Trek the Motion Picture and extended? Some of the scenes would get.
Wait, what's the difference between which one? Or the theatrical and the TV
Extended
version?
version.
Is that what he's asking? Or the new one?
The extended version.
Extended version? One of them, you get to see the scaffolding as they lower Kirk out of the airlock when he goes after Spock. You get to see the set scaffolding in the movie.
Kind of like different. There was differences in the Superman movie when you saw it in the theater and on TV. They put a hell of a lot of scenes in.
Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray of that, and there's scenes in there that I don't remember.
Yeah, Star Trek motion picture is like Star Trek 5 for me. I can avoid it and I miss nothing.
I enjoy it now.
Still upset. I'm still upset with Star Trek 6. The complete screw up they got in it.
What didn't you like about Undiscovered Country?
It was the Excelsior that had all the equipment for cataloging gaseous anomaly, not the Enterprise. So it should have been the Excelsior that had the torpedo that would have went up the bird of prey's tailpipe.
Who's to say the Enterprise didn't have that stuff too?
That's what I said, but no, God forbid the Enterprise have any special equipment.
The Enterprise was not on a mission to study gaseous anomalies.
Yeah, but they have huge cargo bays. Who knows they didn't have a spare whatever in there.
But each ship was sent out with specific missions, so they would have been outfitted for those missions. The Enterprise was not on that mission, so they would not have had those items.
Well, just because I go to the gas station doesn't mean I take out my extra seats because I'm not going to use them.
Not standard equipment for a starship.
But for the flagship?
Flagship is for other things, not for specific little task.
I don't know, man.
I don't think the Enterprise was the flagship back then anyways.
Yes, it was.
The Enterprise A? No, I don't know about that.
By that time, the A was.
Was it?
Yeah, you got to remember, that's the only ship that really has ever gotten the designation of... I mean, you look at like the Defiant, the Excelsior, and others, they don't change or add an A to it. They only the Enterprise has ever really gotten that designation. Why? You know, I'm trying to look it up, and I still haven't been able to figure it out.
The hull registry does not designate it being a flagship. A flagship is designated by usually whatever admiral is housed on that ship.
Yep.
No, your flagship should be your highest tech ship, period. That's what the flagship means.
The Constitution class. That's not the Constitution class in the movie era. That would have been the Excelsior then.
All right, hey, Deej, I'm going to get out of here, bud. You guys all take care.
All right, take it easy.
It's 9 o'clock. We still got the sun up, so I'm going to lay down, chill for a little bit, drink this last beer I got.
Well, I've managed to make it to 45 minutes extra to people. I think I'm going to call this a stream and go relax and do something. And I know Arabic's waiting just for this ending. So here you go, Arabic, and thank you everybody for showing up and having a great night. Thank you to everyone who jumped up on the panel. Ouch, that hurt. And yeah, try to enjoy the rest of your night, and remember, can't we all just get along?
Oh, get the hell out of here. Go on, you go on, get the hell out of here.
It's very hard. It's very hard.